My daughter wrote to me, "Plans have changed. You're not going on the cruise. It's only for real families." I didn't argue. I typed, "Okay," waited for her to leave, blocked her access to my accounts, sold the house she lived in, and disappeared. When she came back, she found new locks, a new owner, and no way in. That's when I knew I'd done the right thing. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up 3 weeks. Before we continue, we ask you to hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We would like to get to know our audience better. Emily called me on a Tuesday morning. I was in the garage, sorting through old tools I'd kept from the construction business. Selling the company had been the smartest move I'd made in 40 years. Got out before the market turned, walked away with enough to live comfortably, and never looked back. "Dad, we need to talk about the cruise," she said. Her voice had that practiced brightness she used when she wanted something. "What about it?" I kept sorting. A good hammer is worth keeping. A cheap one isn't. "Well, Tyler and I have been thinking." Here it comes. "The kids are so excited, and we really want this to be a special family trip. You know, intimate. Just us. I bought the tickets, Emily. I know, and that's so generous. But we'll pay you back, eventually, when things settle down with Tyler's business." Tyler's business. That was rich. Tyler didn't have a business. He had a LinkedIn profile and a borrowed office he shared with 3 other guys who also didn't have businesses. "You're uninviting me from a trip I paid for. Don't be dramatic. We're just saying it might be better if it's just the 4 of us. Real family, you know? Quality time." There it was. Real family. I'd raised her alone after Valerie and I split when Emily was 12. Worked 70-hour weeks to keep her in good schools, paid for the college she dropped out of after 3 semesters, co-signed the lease on her first apartment, and helped with the down payment on the house she and Tyler bought. Except they didn't buy it. I bought it. My name was on the deed because their credit couldn't carry a mortgage on a garden shed. "Real family," I repeated. "You understand, right?" "Sure," I said. "I understand perfectly." "Great! I knew you would. Tyler said you might be difficult, but I told him my dad's not like that." I hung up. Then I sat down at my workbench and pulled out my laptop. First, I logged into the joint account I'd set up for emergencies, the one Emily had been dipping into for the past 3 years. Closed it. Transferred everything to a new account she didn't know about. Second, the Children's Education Fund. I'd set it up when my grandkids were born. Emily had access as a co-trustee. I called my attorney, a guy named Lucas Hart who'd worked for me back when I ran the company, and had him start paperwork to revoke her access. Takes 30 days in this state. Fine. I had 30 days. Third, the house. I pulled up the deed, my name only. I'd been meaning to add Emily for years, kept putting it off because something always felt wrong about Tyler. Good instincts, it turned out. I called a real estate agent, not the one who'd helped Emily with the purchase, a different one. "I need to sell a house," I said. "Fast. And I need the buyer to be someone who won't mind things getting messy." "How messy?" "The current occupants think they own it." She laughed. "I know a guy." I called Valerie next. We'd been divorced for 23 years, but we still talked. Not often, maybe once a month. She'd remarried, divorced again, and now lived alone in Arizona. She didn't like Emily much. Never had. "Val, Emily just uninvited me from the cruise I bought for everyone." Silence on the other end. Then, "What are you going to do?" "What do you think I should do?" "Jack, I've known you since you were 26. You're going to burn their lives down." "That's illegal." "Not if you do it right." "I sold my company because I was smart enough to see the market turning. You think I can't see this?" "They were never going to stop using you," she said quietly. "You know that, right?" I did. I'd known it for years. I just hadn't wanted to admit it. "Thanks, Val. Don't do anything stupid. Never do." I spent the next 2 weeks setting things up. The real estate agent found a buyer. A man named Noah Briggs who flipped houses for a living. He didn't care about the drama. He cared about the price. I gave him a good one, with the condition that the sale had to close before Emily and Tyler got back from their cruise. I moved my things into a storage unit. Not much to move. I'd always lived light. Then I rented a small apartment across town. 1 bedroom, decent internet, no forwarding address. The day before Emily and Tyler left for the cruise, I drove by the house. Tyler was loading suitcases into their SUV, also bought with my co-signature on the loan. Emily was on her phone, probably posting something for her followers. She had 40,000 of them now. Lifestyle influencer, she called herself. What that meant was she took pictures of things I'd paid for and pretended it was all her own success. I didn't stop. I just drove past, memorizing the look of them. Happy, carefree, confident. They left the next morning. I had 7 days. The house sale closed on day 3. Noah Briggs paid cash, or close enough to it that the paperwork went through in 48 hours. I signed the deed in a lawyer's office downtown, handed over the keys, and walked out with a cashier's check. What about the people living there? Noah asked. Not my problem anymore, I said. He grinned. Fair enough. The lawyer, a woman I'd never met before, specifically chosen because she had no connection to my previous life, looked at me over her glasses. Mr. Rowley, you understand this transfer is final? Once these documents are recorded, you have no legal claim to the property. That's exactly what I want. She nodded and stamped the final page. The sound echoed in the small office. Final. Irreversible. Perfect. I walked out into the parking lot and sat in my truck for a minute, just holding the cashier's check. $240,000. Not what the house was worth. I'd given Noah a deal. But enough. More than enough. I'd bought that house 8 years ago for $190, put another 30 into improvements. Emily had picked out every fixture, every paint color, every piece of trim. She'd called it our family home. Except it was never ours. It was always mine. And now it was Noah's. I drove to the bank and deposited the check. Watched the teller's eyes widen slightly at the amount. She didn't ask questions. Just processed it, handed me a receipt, and wished me a good day. I had copies of everything. Every document I'd ever signed for Emily, every guarantee I'd ever made for Tyler, every financial thread that kept their lives looking successful. I'd spent the previous 2 days organizing them, made a spreadsheet, dates, amounts, institutions, account numbers, everything mapped out like a construction blueprint. You don't run a successful business for 40 years without learning how to document your work. Tyler thought he was a financial consultant. He had business cards, and a website and a LinkedIn profile that said, Asset Management Specialist. What he actually had was my signature on a bond application from 4 years ago when he'd needed to get licensed. In this state, you need a registered business and a financial guarantee to hold certain investment licenses. Tyler's business was registered to my old company address, an address that hadn't been mine for over a year. The guarantee was my name, my credit, my reputation. I pulled out my phone and called the state licensing board. Department of Financial Regulation, how can I help you? I need to withdraw as a financial sponsor, I told the woman on the phone. For which licensee? I gave her Tyler's license number. I'd memorized it 3 days ago. And you are? Jack Rowley, current guarantor. I heard typing, then a pause. Yes, I see you listed here. Are you the current guarantor? Yes. Any particular reason for the withdrawal? I'd prepared for this question. Had to be careful. Couldn't make it sound personal. Had to sound like a business decision. I'm no longer confident in his financial stability. Recent information has come to my attention regarding his business practices and asset management. I can no longer in good conscience maintain my guarantee. There was a longer pause. More typing. That will trigger a compliance review, Mr. Rowley. I understand. And if he can't find a replacement guarantor within 60 days, his license will be suspended pending the outcome of that review. I understand that too. Just to be clear, this is an irrevocable withdrawal. Once processed, you cannot reinstate your guarantee without a full reapplication process. That's fine. She walked me through the paperwork. I filled it out right there on the phone, sitting in my truck in the bank parking lot, using the steering wheel as a desk. She emailed me the forms. I filled them out, signed them electronically, and sent them back within 10 minutes. You should receive confirmation within 24 hours, she said. The licensee will be notified within 72 hours. Perfect. Thank you. Is there anything else? No. That's everything. I hung up and marked it off my list. One down. The education fund took longer. Lucas met me at a coffee shop on day 4. A place neither Emily nor Tyler would ever go, a rundown spot on the edge of town where the coffee was terrible, but the Wi-Fi was fast and no one asked questions. You sure about this? Lucas asked, sliding into the booth across from me. Completely. She's going to lose her mind. Good. He pulled a folder from his briefcase. Thick, lots of pages. He'd done thorough work. Okay, here's what I've got. The education fund is technically a revocable living trust. You established it, you funded it, you named Emily as co-trustee for administrative convenience, but the beneficial owners are the kids. Can I remove her as co-trustee? Absolutely. You're the primary trustee and the grantor. You can modify the trust terms at any time. I've drafted an amendment that removes her access completely and places the funds under your sole control. He slid the papers across the table. Sign here, here, and here. The trust reverts to your sole control. She won't be able to withdraw anything without your approval. I read through it. Not because I didn't trust Lucas, I did, but because I needed to understand exactly what I was signing. Every word, every clause. It was airtight, clean, no loopholes. I signed. How fast does this take effect? As soon as I file it, maybe 6 hours. Do it now. He pulled out his phone and photographed the documents. 2 minutes later, they were filed electronically. The coffee shop had good Wi-Fi. Done, he said. As of right now, she can't touch that money. What about the automatic payments? The school tuition? Also frozen. Any standing payment authorizations under her name are void. If you want to continue paying the school, you'll have to set up new payments yourself. I don't want to continue paying. Lucas nodded slowly. The school will notify the parents when the payment fails. Usually takes about 2 weeks. That's fine. Anything else? Lucas asked. Keep your phone on. I might need you. Jack. He leaned forward. You know this is going to get ugly, right? It's already ugly. I'm just making it visible. He studied me for a moment. You're different. How? Calmer. Usually when people do this kind of thing, they're angry. Emotional. You're not. I'm furious, I said. I'm just not stupid about it. He laughed. Fair enough. We finished our coffee, terrible just like I remembered, and went our separate ways. I had more work to do. That night, I went through Emily's social media. Not just Instagram, all of it. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. She wasn't as active on the others, but she posted enough. I made screenshots of everything relevant. Every post about their blessed life. Every photo of expensive dinners, new clothes, family vacations. Every caption about living our best life and so grateful for our success. I organized them chronologically, created a timeline, showed exactly how their lifestyle had escalated over the years, how the spending had increased, how the dependency had deepened. I wasn't planning to use it, not yet. But I wanted it ready, just in case, because people like Emily and Tyler, they don't just accept defeat. They fight back. They spin stories. They play victim. I needed to be ready for that. One post caught my attention, a photo of Tyler and Emily at the cruise ship's bar, cocktails in hand, both smiling, both relaxed, both completely oblivious to what was waiting for them at home. The caption read, "Finally getting the family time we deserve." Sometimes you have to set boundaries with people who don't understand what real family means. I stared at that post for a long time. People who don't understand what real family means. I saved the screenshot, printed it, put it in a folder with all the other documents, evidence, not for court, for myself, a reminder of why I was doing this. They came home on day 7. I was in my apartment when I got the first call. Emily. I didn't answer. She called again, then Tyler called, then Emily again. I watched my phone light up, watched the voicemails pile up, didn't listen to any of them. Then the text messages started. Emily. Dad, why won't you answer? Emily. We can't get into the house. Emily. Someone changed the locks. Emily. What's going on? Tyler. Jack, we need to talk. Tyler. This isn't funny. Emily. Dad, call me now. I poured myself a drink, good scotch, the kind I never bought when I was paying for everything else, and watched my phone light up like a Christmas tree. Around 9 that night, my phone rang with a number I didn't recognize. I answered. Mr. Rowley? A woman's voice, professional, tired. Speaking. This is Officer Patricia Mendez with the county police. I'm at 4827 Oakwood Drive. Do you own this property? Not anymore. Sold it last week. There was a pause, papers rustling in the background. Your daughter says she lives here. She did. She doesn't anymore. Sir, she has 2 children with her and nowhere to go. That's unfortunate. Silence on the other end. Then, are you aware this might constitute an illegal eviction? No eviction occurred. She never had a lease. She never paid rent. She was an occupant of a property I owned. I sold the property. The new owner has every right to change the locks. More silence, then muffled conversation. Voices in the background. Emily's voice, high-pitched and frantic. Sir, the officer said, is there any way? Officer, with respect, this is a civil matter. My daughter has had free housing for 6 years. She just uninvited me from a vacation I paid for because I wasn't real family. She can figure out her own housing now. I hung up. 3 minutes later, Emily called from the officer's phone. I answered. How could you do this? She screamed. We have children. You have children. You also have a husband with a job. Figure it out. We can't afford a hotel. Should have thought of that before you decided I wasn't real family. That's not what I meant. Yes, it was. That's exactly what you meant. Dad, please. I hung up again. The next call was from Valerie. I'm guessing Emily called you, I said. 3 times. She's hysterical, said you made them homeless. I sold a house I owned. They were living in it, rent-free. That's not the same thing. I know, Valerie said. I told her that. What did she say? Called me a terrible mother and hung up. I laughed. Actually laughed. First time in weeks. They're at Tyler's parents' place, Valerie said. Emily's already posted about it. I pulled up her Instagram. Sure enough, a new post. A photo of the kids looking sad in someone's guest room. Caption. When people you trust betray you, all you can do is keep your head high and protect your babies. The comments were already rolling in. What happened? Who hurt you? You're so strong. Sending prayers. I took another screenshot, added it to the folder. The story was just beginning, and I was going to control every word of it. Emily went live on Instagram 2 days later. I was at the hardware store when my phone buzzed with the notification. I almost ignored it, but curiosity got me. She was in Tyler's parents' living room, camera angled to make her look small and vulnerable. Her eyes were red. She'd been crying, or wanted it to look that way. I need to be honest with you guys, she started. This week has been the hardest of my life. I leaned against my truck and kept watching. You all know I've always been private about family stuff, but some things need to be said. She took a shaky breath. My father has decided to cut us off completely. No explanation, no warning. We came home from a family trip and found out he'd sold our house without telling us. We're temporarily staying with family while we figure things out. The comments exploded. What? That's horrible. How could he do that? Sue him. Emily wiped her eyes. I don't want to get into details, but I'm asking for privacy right now. And if anyone knows of rental listings or job opportunities, please DM me. Tyler's business is going through a transition, and we're just trying to keep things stable for the kids. Transition. That was one word for it. I watched the viewer count climb. 2,000, 3,000. Someone gave her a donation. $50, then another, 25. People were giving her money. I should have been angry. Instead, I was impressed. She'd learned something from me after all, how to sell a story. But stories only work if people don't know the truth. I opened my photos and found the screenshot of her cruise post, the one about real family and setting boundaries. I sent it to 3 of her biggest followers, women who commented on everything she posted. Added a single line. This was posted 4 days before she came home to betrayal. Then I put my phone away and went back to shopping for shelf brackets. By that evening, Emily's live stream had been screen recorded and shared, but so had my screenshot. The comments on her posts shifted. Wait, she was just on a cruise? Who paid for that if they're broke? Something doesn't add up. This feels manipulative. Emily deleted the live stream. Then she posted a story. People are spreading lies. I won't engage with negativity. But the damage was done. Her follower count dropped by 3,000 overnight. Tyler called me the next morning. I let it go to voicemail. Jack, we need to talk. Face to face. I'm coming to find you. Good luck with that. I'd already moved twice since leaving the house. The apartment I'd rented first was just a decoy. My real place was a small rental outside the city. Paid 6 months up front in cash, under an LLC I'd set up years ago for property investments. No trail. But Tyler wasn't sharp enough to track me down that way. He'd try the old address, maybe my old office, maybe Valerie. All of those would lead nowhere. What he should have been doing was checking his mail. The letter from the state licensing board arrived at Tyler's parents' house 3 days after Emily's live stream. I knew because Lucas had contacts at the board who kept him updated. They sent the compliance review notice, Lucas told me over the phone. He's got 60 days to find a new guarantor or his license gets suspended. Will he find one? Would you guarantee him? Fair point. There's more, Lucas said. I did some digging. His business address, your old office, the lease expired 8 months ago. He never renewed it. Technically, his business registration is invalid. Can you report that? Already did, anonymously. I could have hugged him. You're a good man, Lucas. I remember when Tyler came to your office asking for money. You gave it to him. Then he talked about you behind your back like you were stupid. How do you know that? I was there, in the break room. He didn't know. People always forget the quiet ones are listening. Tyler showed up at my old office 4 days later. I wasn't there, hadn't been there in over a year, but the new tenants called me. Some tech startup had taken over the space. There's a guy here looking for you, the kid on the phone said. Says it's urgent. Tell him I don't work there anymore. I did. He won't leave. Call building security. Already did. I almost drove over there just to watch Tyler get escorted out, but that would have given away my position. Better to stay invisible. Instead, I sent him a text. First one since this all started. You lived in my house. 3 words. That's all he got. He tried calling immediately. I declined. He called 6 more times. Then he texted back. Tyler, we need to talk like adults. Tyler, this is childish. Tyler, you're hurting your grandchildren. That last one almost made me laugh. The grandchildren he'd used as props in every argument. The ones Emily posted for likes. The ones they'd apparently decided I wasn't real family enough to vacation with. I didn't respond. Instead, I called Dana Cross. Dana was a legal officer at the bank where I'd done business for 30 years. We'd worked together on commercial loans, business lines of credit, all the boring financial infrastructure that keeps companies running. She owed me a favor. I'd helped her brother get a job at my company years ago. I need to know something, I said. Hypothetically. I don't like hypotheticals. If someone had a line of credit guaranteed by a third party, and that third party wanted to withdraw the guarantee, what happens? The line gets frozen pending review. If the primary borrower can't show adequate assets or income to support the credit line, it gets closed. How fast? 30 days usually. Faster if there's evidence of financial instability. What counts as evidence? Expired business registration, suspended professional license, that kind of thing. I smiled. Thanks, Dana. Jack, what are you doing? Accounting. I hung up and pulled up Tyler's credit line information. I'd guaranteed it 4 years ago when he'd convinced me he was starting a real business. $25,000 limit. He'd maxed it out within 6 months and had been making minimum payments ever since. I called the bank's business services line. I need to withdraw as guarantor on a credit account, I said. They transferred me 3 times, but eventually I got to the right person, filled out the forms, provided the account numbers, signed electronically. This will trigger an immediate review of the account, the man on the phone said. I understand. The primary account holder will be notified. That's fine. I hung up and waited. Tyler's next text arrived 2 hours later. Tyler, what did you do? Tyler, the bank just froze my line of credit. Tyler, I have bills due. Tyler, you can't do this. I could, and I did. I texted back. You're not real family, remember? Then I blocked his number. Emily tried a different approach the next week. She sent an email. Long, carefully written, probably drafted by Tyler. Dad, I know you're angry. I understand that. But what you're doing is hurting innocent people. The kids ask about you every day. They don't understand why Grandpa isn't around anymore. I made a mistake with my words on that call. I was stressed. I didn't mean it the way it sounded. Please, can we talk? Can we fix this? I'm willing to apologize if that's what you need to hear. Just please stop punishing us. I read it twice, looked for sincerity, found none. If that's what you need to hear. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I was wrong. Just, if that's what you need to hear. I deleted the email. The school called me 3 days later. My grandkids went to a private academy, $12,000 a year per child, plus fees. I'd set up automatic payments from the education fund when they'd enrolled. Mr. Rowley, there's an issue with this semester's payment, the registrar said. What kind of issue? It was declined. Mrs. Bennett's access to the fund appears to be blocked. That's correct. Sir, if the payment isn't received within 2 weeks, we'll have to withdraw the children from enrollment. You should discuss that with their parents. We've tried. Mrs. Bennett says you're the account holder and this is a misunderstanding. It's not a misunderstanding. She no longer has access to that fund. If she wants to keep the kids enrolled, she'll need to pay from her own accounts. Silence. Then, I see. Thank you for clarifying. Emily called from a restricted number an hour later. I answered because I wanted to hear this. You're going to kick your grandchildren out of school? Her voice was shaking. What kind of person does that? The kind who paid for 6 years of their education while their parents spent money on vacations and new cars. We can't afford that school. Then find one you can afford. They'll lose all their friends. They'll make new ones. Dad, please. You made your choices, Emily. These are the consequences. I said I was sorry. No, you said you were willing to apologize if that's what I needed to hear. That's not the same thing. She was crying now. Real tears, probably. I don't understand why you're doing this. Real families don't abandon each other, Emily. You taught me that. I hung up. Lucas called me that night. Tyler came to my office today, he said. What did he want? He wanted to know if there was any legal way to force you to reinstate the guarantees. I told him no. He asked if he could sue you. I told him he'd lose. How did he take it? Threatened to come after me for malpractice. I reminded him I'm not his lawyer and never have been. He left. Thanks for the heads up. Jack, Lucas said carefully. He's getting desperate. Good. Desperate people do stupid things. So do arrogant people. He's both. That's why this works. Just be careful. I appreciated the concern, but I wasn't worried. Tyler was a coward. He talked big, acted small. Every confrontation in his life had been verbal. He'd never thrown a punch, never gotten physical, never done anything that required actual courage. But Lucas was right about the desperation. 2 days later, I was leaving a grocery store when I saw Tyler's SUV in the parking lot. He was sitting in the driver's seat, watching the entrance, waiting. I loaded my groceries into my truck and got in. He pulled up behind me, blocking me in. I could have backed into him, could have called the cops, could have made a scene. Instead, I got out. Tyler scrambled out of his SUV, laptop bag in hand. He looked terrible. Unshaved, rumpled clothes, eyes red from lack of sleep. We need to talk, he said. No, we don't. You're destroying my life. You did that yourself. He stepped closer, trying to intimidate me. I'm 62, but I'm also 6'1" and spent 40 years in construction. I know how to stand my ground. I have documents, he said, holding up the laptop bag. Financial records. Proof that I've been paying you back for everything. No, you haven't. I have records that say I have. I understood then. He'd faked them. Created false payment records, probably planning to use them in court. Tyler, I said slowly, if you try to submit fraudulent documents in any legal proceeding, you'll go to jail. You understand that, right? His face went white. You think I don't keep copies of everything? I continued. Every bank statement, every transaction, every bounced check you tried to hide. You want to play that game? I'll bury you. You can't. I already am. He swung the laptop bag at me. Clumsy, desperate, stupid. I sidestepped and grabbed his wrist, twisting just enough to make him drop the bag. It hit the pavement with a crack. Don't, I said quietly. He tried to pull free. I held on. You'll regret this, he said. Already didn't. I let go. He stumbled back, clutching his wrist. People were watching now. A woman had her phone out, recording. You assaulted me, Tyler said loudly. Everyone saw it. I looked at the woman with the phone. Did you see me assault him? She shook her head. I saw him swing first. Tyler's face went red. He grabbed his laptop bag and got back in his SUV, tires squealing as he pulled away. I drove home and called Lucas. Tyler just tried to attack me in a grocery store parking lot, I said. There's video. Did you hit him? No. Grabbed his wrist. That's it. Good. Send me the contact info for the witness. I'll get a statement. He's going to try something else. I know, but every time he does, he makes it worse for himself. Lucas was right. But I wanted Tyler to try something else, because the more he tried, the easier this got. Emily's sponsor termination arrived during her next live stream. She was trying to rebuild her image, doing a raw and real session about financial struggles and staying positive. 700 people watching. The comment section was a mix of supportive and skeptical. Then her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, face still in frame. Her expression changed. Confusion. Then anger. Then panic. I'm sorry, I have to go, she said, and ended the stream. But people had seen her face. And Emily being Emily, she couldn't help herself. She posted about it an hour later. Just lost a major partnership because of brand instability. Apparently having real-life struggles makes you unreliable. This industry is broken. The comments came fast. What partnership? Who dropped you? Was it because of your dad? Someone found out. A follower who worked in marketing DM'd several people that it was a home goods company that had been paying Emily $3,000 a month to post styled photos. They'd cited a morals clause, something about public controversy affecting brand image. The story spread. A smaller influencer gossip account picked it up. Influencer Emily Bennett dropped by brand after family drama goes public. Emily's follower count dropped another 5,000. Tyler's license suspension notice came a week later. I knew about it before he did because Lucas still had contacts at the board. He never found a replacement guarantor, Lucas said. His license is suspended pending compliance review. He can't legally operate as a financial consultant until it's reinstated. How long does reinstatement take? If he can find a guarantor and fix the business registration issue, 6 months minimum, more likely a year. And if he can't, then he's done. Tyler tried to hide it at first. He kept his LinkedIn profile active, kept calling himself a consultant. But word gets around in small professional circles. Within 2 weeks, 3 of his clients had called me, people he'd listed as references back when I'd still been guaranteeing him. Is it true Tyler lost his license? One asked. Suspended, I said, pending review. Did you pull your guarantee? I did. Why? Because he couldn't sustain his own business without my backing, and I'm done backing him. Fair enough. Thanks for being straight with me. Tyler's clients dropped him one by one. Emily tried the PTA next. She'd been on the board at the kids' school, back when they could afford that school. Even after I'd pulled funding and they'd moved the kids to public school, she'd tried to maintain her position at the private academy. Networking, she called it. The PTA mothers called it something else. I didn't have to do anything there. The gossip mill did it for me. Word spread that Emily had been living rent-free in a house she didn't own, that her entire lifestyle was funded by her father, that she'd cut him out and then acted shocked when he'd cut her off. Private school parents love drama, but they hate hypocrisy more. Emily was quietly asked to step down from the board. She posted about it, of course. When you're going through something hard, you find out who your real friends are. Spoiler, most people are fake. The comments were less sympathetic this time. Maybe don't bite the hand that feeds you. Your dad paid for everything, and you called him not real family lol. Actions have consequences. She deleted the post after an hour. Tyler tried one more time to confront me. He found out where I was eating lunch, a diner I liked on the south side of town, and showed up while I was finishing a burger. We need to settle this, he said, sliding into the booth across from me. There's nothing to settle. I want to work something out, a payment plan, something fair. Fair would have been you paying your own way 6 years ago. I can get the license back. I just need you to re-sign the guarantee. No. Jack, come on, be reasonable. I'm being perfectly reasonable. You want to work? Get a real job. I have a job. You have a fantasy. Here's reality. I've got a buddy who runs a construction company. He needs project managers, pays $55,000 a year to start, benefits, real work. Tyler stared at me. You want me to work construction? I want you to work, period. But yeah, that's the offer. Take it or don't. I'm not working construction. Then figure something else out. I have an MBA. From a mid-tier program you barely finished, and you've been coasting on my reputation ever since. Time to build your own. He stood up. You know what? Fine. We don't need you. We'll figure it out ourselves. You've had 6 years to figure it out. How's that going? He didn't answer. Just walked out. I paid for my burger and left a good tip. The waitress had been watching the whole thing with barely concealed amusement. A reporter called me 2 days later. Harper Lee. She worked for the local business journal. Mr. Rowley, I'm working on a piece about business guarantee relationships and the risks involved. Would you be willing to comment on your experience with Tyler Bennett? What do you want to know? Did you guarantee his business license and credit line? I did. And you withdrew both guarantees recently? Correct. Can you speak to why? I thought about it. Then decided honesty was fine. Tyler represented himself as having a viable business. Over 4 years, I came to realize his business was only viable because I was backing it financially. When I decided to step back, the house of cards collapsed. That's not my fault. That's economics. His wife, your daughter, has made some public statements about family conflict. Any comment on that? My daughter told me I wasn't real family. I took her at her word. That's on the record? Everything I just said is on the record. The article ran a week later. When family business goes wrong, the hidden cost of personal guarantees. It was fair, factual, and devastating. Tyler came off as incompetent. Emily came off as entitled. I came off as someone who'd finally had enough. The comments section lit up. Good for him. My dad helped me with my business, but I actually paid him back. Influencer culture is toxic. This is what happens when you use people. Emily posted a response. Media will twist anything for clicks. My father is abusive and controlling. This is financial abuse. But the narrative was already set. People had seen the screenshots. They'd seen her posts about the cruise, the lifestyle, the blessed life. They'd watched her try to play victim while evidence piled up that she'd been living on someone else's dime for years. Her follower count dropped below 30,000. I sent the article to Valerie. She called me. You're enjoying this? Should I feel bad about that? No, she said. I just wanted to make sure you knew you were enjoying it. I'm not enjoying hurting them. I'm enjoying watching them face reality. Same thing, Jack. Maybe it was. I didn't care. I pulled Emily from my will the next week. Lucas handled it, rewrote the whole thing, removed her as beneficiary, set up a structure where everything went to charity except for a trust fund for the grandkids that they couldn't access until they were 30. And only if they met certain conditions. College degree, stable employment, no bankruptcies. That's harsh, Lucas said when I outlined it. It's fair. If they turn out better than their parents, they get rewarded. If they don't, the money goes somewhere useful. What about Emily? She gets nothing, and I want her to know it now, not after I'm gone. Lucas drafted a letter of intent. Legal, binding, impossible to contest. I signed it and had it notarized. Then I mailed it to Tyler's parents' house, certified mail, signature required. Emily called from another restricted number 2 days later. I answered. You cut me out of your will? Her voice was hoarse. She'd been crying. Your own daughter? You said I wasn't family. I didn't mean, yes, you did. And now you're dealing with it. The kids will be fine. I set up a trust for them. They'll get it when they're adults, if they're responsible adults. You're punishing them for my mistakes. I'm protecting them from yours. If I left you money, you'd spend it. This way, they have a chance. I'm your only child, and you treated me like an ATM. Congratulations on your inheritance. Nothing. Dad, please. I hung up. Tyler tried to sue, filed paperwork claiming financial elder abuse, undue influence, all the standard plays when someone's desperate and stupid. Lucas got it dismissed in 2 weeks. He didn't have standing, Lucas explained. He's not family, not a dependent, not a beneficiary. He has no legal relationship to your finances. The judge basically laughed him out of court. Did it cost him money? Filing fees at least. Maybe a lawyer consultation if he was dumb enough to pay for one. Good. The school sent another notice. The kids had been officially withdrawn for non-payment. Tyler's parents had tried to cover a month, but they couldn't sustain $12,000 a year per kid. Emily posted about it. The public school system is failing our children. Overcrowded classrooms, no resources, no support. We're doing our best, but it's heartbreaking. Someone commented, maybe your dad's private school money could have helped? She deleted the comment, then disabled comments entirely. Her sponsorships dried up completely. No one wanted to work with someone whose brand was built on a lie. The lifestyle she'd sold was fake. People don't forgive that. Tyler's SUV got repossessed. I knew because Emily posted about it. Not directly, but a vague story about hitting rock bottom with a photo of her crying in a parking lot. Someone in the comments recognized the tow truck in the background. The credit cards got shut down next. The ones I'd co-signed years ago, the ones they'd maxed out and been making minimum payments on. I called the companies, withdrew as co-signer, watched the accounts get frozen and sent to collections. Tyler's parents kicked them out after 3 months. I heard about it through Valerie, who heard it through some mutual acquaintance. Apparently, Tyler and his father had gotten into a fight about money, specifically about Tyler expecting his parents to support 4 people indefinitely. They moved into a 2-bedroom apartment in a bad part of town. Emily posted a photo. New chapter. Teaching the kids that home is where your family is, not what your house looks like. The comments were brutal. Where was that energy when you had a mansion? Humility looks good on you. Your dad tried to teach you this years ago. She stopped posting after that. Her account went dark. Tyler got a job finally. Retail management at an electronics store. $32,000 a year. Nothing like what he'd pretended to make as a consultant. I knew because he listed me as a reference. The store manager called. "Do you recommend Tyler Bennett for this position?" she asked. "He's capable of basic retail work," I said. "Don't put him in charge of anything important." That's not exactly a glowing recommendation. It's an honest one. They hired him anyway. Desperation on both sides, probably. Emily tried to go back to school, some online certificate program in marketing. She posted about it on her Instagram story. Investing in myself, never too late to start over. 3 people viewed it. I almost felt bad. Almost. Then I remembered, plans have changed. You're not going on the cruise. It's only for real families. The bad feeling went away. I scheduled the final meeting 3 months after the cruise they'd uninvited me from. By then, they were exactly where I wanted them. Broken, desperate, and willing to do anything. The location was perfect. The house, my old house, the one they'd lived in rent-free for 6 years, was under renovation. Noah Briggs had gutted it, turned it into a flip project. It was empty now. Just bare walls, exposed beams, and the smell of fresh paint. I got the keys from Noah. "You sure about this?" he asked. "Very. Want me to stick around?" "No, this is private." He handed over the keys. "Place is a mess. Watch your step." I walked through it the day before. All the furniture was gone. The custom built-ins Emily had insisted on, paid for by me, had been ripped out. The kitchen where Tyler had made himself coffee every morning for 6 years was down to the studs. It was perfect. I texted Emily from a new number. "If you want to talk, meet me at 4827 Oakwood Drive, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Come alone or don't come at all." She responded in 30 seconds. "Is this Dad? 3 p.m., don't be late." I didn't respond after that. The next day, I got there early, brought a folding table and chair from my truck, set them up in what used to be the living room, put a folder on the table. Inside, copies of everything: the deed transfer, the guarantee withdrawals, the trust revision, the will amendment, everything that proved what I'd done. They showed up at 2:58. I heard the car pull up outside, heard the doors open and close, heard them arguing in the driveway. Tyler's voice: "This might be a trap." Emily: "It's my father." Tyler: "Exactly." The front door opened. It wasn't locked. I was sitting at the table, waiting. Emily saw me first. She looked terrible. No makeup, hair pulled back, clothes that actually fit her budget now, Target instead of Nordstrom. Tyler looked worse, thinner, older. The confidence was gone. They stood in the doorway like they weren't sure they were allowed in. "Sit down," I said. There was only one chair, the one I was in. "There's nowhere to—" Emily started. "Then stand." Tyler stepped forward. "Jack, we appreciate you reaching out. We've been wanting to... Shut up, Tyler. He stopped talking. I opened the folder, pulled out the first document. Do you know what this is? Emily squinted at it. The deed? The deed transfer. The day you left for the cruise, I sold this house. You came home to new locks because you came home to someone else's property. We didn't know, Emily said. You thought you owned it. You never did. Your name was never on this deed. Neither was yours, Tyler. This house was mine. You were guests. Guests I supported for 6 years. We appreciated that, Tyler said. No, you didn't. You expected it. There's a difference. I pulled out the next document. This is the trust revision. The education fund you'd been using. Gone. Under my sole control now. The kids' school bills? Your problem. Emily's face crumpled. You could have just talked to us. I did talk to you. You told me I wasn't real family. I was upset. So am I. Difference is, I do something about it. I pulled out another document. Credit line withdrawal. Business guarantee revocation. Tyler, do you know what happens when someone loses their financial backing? He didn't answer. They fail. You failed. Your business was never real. It was a costume you wore while spending my money. I worked hard. You worked at pretending. There's a difference. I spread the documents across the table. All of them. Every legal action I'd taken. This is what you built your life on, I said. My signatures, my guarantees, my property. You built a mansion on sand, and when I pulled my hand back, it all collapsed. Emily was crying now. What do you want from us? Nothing. That's the point. I don't want anything from you anymore. Then why are we here? I stood up, walked around the table, stood in front of them. I'm giving you one last option. Real work. Tyler, there's still that construction job if you want it. $55,000 a year, benefits, 40 hours a week. You'll be tired, your back will hurt, but you'll earn an actual living. I'm not... Emily, you can go back to school, real school, not some online certificate mill. Get a degree in something useful. I'll pay for it. Tuition only. You work for living expenses. Her eyes widened. You do that? Under conditions. You work. You prove you're serious. You don't post about it on social media. You don't use me for content. You grow up. And if we agree? Tyler asked. Then in 5 years, maybe we can talk about being family again. Maybe. And if we don't? Then you're on your own, completely. Silence. I could see them thinking, weighing options, trying to figure out if there was an angle. Tyler broke first. This is insane. You're trying to control our lives. No. I'm offering you a way back. You're just too proud to take it. Proud? You humiliated us. You made us homeless. You made yourselves homeless. I just stopped enabling it. Emily grabbed Tyler's arm. Maybe we should... No. Tyler pulled away. No, we're not doing this. We're not going to beg. Then don't, I said. You're a sad old man, Tyler said. You're alone. You've pushed everyone away. And one day your life will end and no one will care. I smiled. Actually smiled. Tyler, I'm 62 years old. I have enough money to live comfortably for the rest of my life. I answer to no one. I support no one. And I sleep better now than I have in years. Because I'm free. You want to call me names? Fine. But I'm free and you're broke. So who really won here? He took a step toward me. Emily grabbed his arm again. Tyler, don't. Let him, I said. Let's see what happens. He stopped. Because he knew. He knew if he touched me, he'd lose. Not because I was stronger, though I probably was, but because he'd already lost everything else. He couldn't afford to lose his freedom, too. This is your last chance, I said quietly. Take the job. Go to school. Prove you're worth something. Or walk out that door and stay out of my life forever. Emily looked at Tyler. Tyler looked at the floor. We don't need your charity, he said finally. It's not charity. It's a test, and you just failed. I picked up the folder, walked past them toward the door. Wait, Emily said. Dad, wait. I stopped, didn't turn around. Please, she said, please don't do this. I'm not doing anything. You are. You're choosing this. We can work something out, some kind of compromise. I gave you the compromise. You rejected it. Because it's not fair. I turned around then, looked at her. You know what's not fair? Working 70 hours a week to put your daughter through a good school, then watching her drop out, co-signing loans because she promises she'll make something of herself, then watching her marry someone who uses you like a bank, buying a house because your grandkids need stability, then getting told you're not real family. I said I was sorry. No. You said you were willing to say sorry if that's what I needed to hear. That's not the same thing. I walked to the door, put my hand on the knob. You're really going to leave us with nothing? Emily asked. You have each other. You told me that's what real family is. I opened the door. Tyler came at me when I was halfway to my truck. I heard his footsteps, turned just in time to see him running across the yard. His face was red, twisted with rage. He grabbed my jacket, tried to pull me down. You don't get to walk away. I didn't fight back, didn't have to. Years of construction work had taught me balance. I planted my feet, stayed upright, let him tire himself out, pulling at me. Tyler, stop! Emily was running after him. He didn't stop. He swung at me. Wild, uncontrolled, desperate. I ducked, caught his arm, twisted it behind his back. Same move I'd used in the parking lot. Simple. Effective. He went down on one knee, gasping. Let go! Emily screamed. When he calms down. You're hurting him. He attacked me. Again. You were here. You saw it. Tyler was breathing hard, still trying to pull free. I held on, just enough pressure to keep control, not enough to actually hurt him. Here's what's going to happen, I said quietly. I'm going to let you go. You're going to get in your car. You're going to drive away, and you're never going to contact me again. Or what? Tyler spat. Or I call the police. I press charges. You go on record as someone who attacks senior citizens. See how that plays in court. I'm not a senior citizen, I said, but you are a moron. I let him go. He stumbled forward, caught himself. Emily helped him up. They stood there, both of them breathing hard, both of them looking at me like I was some kind of monster. I gave you a way out, I said. You chose this. We chose nothing, Emily shouted. You forced us into this. I stopped supporting you. That's not the same thing. It is when you have kids. Then maybe you should have thought about that before you decided I wasn't family. I walked to my truck, got in, started the engine. They were still standing there when I drove away. I went home to my apartment, poured myself a drink, sat down at my laptop and opened my email. 3 new messages from Emily, sent in the last 10 minutes. The first, Dad, please. The second, we can talk about this. The third, I'm begging you. I deleted all 3. Then I opened my drafts folder, found the document I'd prepared 3 weeks ago, a final message, the one that would end this permanently. I'd written it carefully, made sure every word was precise, every sentence was true, every accusation was documented. It was addressed to Emily, but it wasn't really for her. It was for me. Evidence, proof, a record of exactly what happened and why. I read through it one more time, then I attached all the documents, the deed transfer, the guarantee withdrawals, the trust revision, the will amendment, every piece of paper that showed what I'd done and why I'd done it. I added one new document, a timeline, starting with Emily's message about the cruise and ending with today's confrontation. Plans have changed. You're not going on the cruise. It's only for real families. That was the beginning. This was the end. I hit send. My phone rang 3 minutes later. Emily. I didn't answer. She called 6 more times. Then Tyler called. Then Emily again. I turned off my phone. The next morning, I drove to the bank, met with Dana Cross one final time. I want to set up something, I said. A final distribution, clean ending. For your daughter? For my grandkids. When they turn 18, they each get $20,000. For college, for starting out, whatever they need. But it goes directly to them. No parent access, no exceptions. That's generous. It's practical. They didn't do anything wrong. They're just kids. Dana nodded. I'll draw up the paperwork. One more thing. I want a letter to go with it, explaining why their mother isn't included, why their grandfather did what he did. Jack, not for revenge, for truth. They deserve to know what happened, when they're old enough to understand. She didn't argue. She'd known me long enough to know I'd thought it through. The paperwork took a week. I signed everything, had it notarized, filed it with the bank's trust department. The letter went into a sealed envelope. Instructions. Deliver when the grandkids turn 18. I wrote it carefully. No anger, no bitterness. Just facts. Your mother told me I wasn't real family. I took her at her word. Everything that happened after that was a consequence of that choice. I loved you both. I hope you build better lives than your parents did. Simple. True. Final. I mailed a copy to Valerie. She called me that night. You really did it, she said. I did. How do you feel? Light. That's it? Just light? Yeah, like I've been carrying something heavy for years and I finally put it down. Any regrets? I thought about it. Really thought about it. No, I said finally. No regrets. Good. Don't start now. We talked for a while longer, about nothing important. Life, weather, her garden, my new apartment, normal things. When I hung up, I realized that was the first normal conversation I'd had in months. I slept well that night. 3 weeks later, I got a call from Lucas. Tyler filed for bankruptcy, he said. All of it? Everything. Personal and business. Chapter 7. He's done. What about Emily? She's not listed on most of the debt. She'll be fine, legally. But her credit's destroyed anyway, and Tyler's parents finally cut them off completely. They're on their own. I didn't feel anything. No satisfaction, no sympathy, just acknowledgement. Thanks for the update, I said. Jack, there's something else. Tyler's lawyer reached out. They want to settle. Settle what? Everything. Drop any potential legal claims. Sign a mutual non-disclosure agreement. Basically, he wants to make sure you can't come after him for anything. I'm not coming after him for anything. I know, but he doesn't know that. He's scared. What does he want in return? Nothing. Just an agreement that this is over. I laughed. Actually laughed. Tell him fine. Draw up the paperwork. I'll sign it. You sure? Yeah, I'm done. It's over. Lucas sent me the documents 3 days later. Standard non-disclosure, mutual release of claims, all the legal language that meant, we're done fighting. I signed it without reading the fine print. Didn't matter. I'd already won. Emily tried one more time, sent a letter. Actual paper, actual stamp, forwarded through Lucas's office because she didn't have my address. I opened it because I was curious. Dad, I know you hate me. I understand why. I was selfish and stupid and I hurt you. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm not even asking you to help us anymore. I just want you to know that I'm sorry. Really sorry. Not because I want something from you, but because it's true. I treated you terribly. You deserved better. The kids ask about you sometimes. I tell them Grandpa is busy. I don't tell them what really happened. Maybe someday I will, when they're old enough to understand, when I'm strong enough to admit it out loud. I hope you're happy. I really do. Even if we never talk again, I hope you find whatever peace you were looking for. Emily. I read it twice. Then I folded it up and put it in a drawer. Didn't respond. Didn't need to. The letter said everything that needed to be said. But it didn't change anything. 6 months after the cruise, I met Valerie for coffee. She'd flown out to visit her sister, made time to see me. "You look good," she said. "I feel good." "Still sleeping well?" "Like a baby," she smiled. "No nightmares? No guilt?" "None." "Good. You shouldn't feel guilty." We talked about her life in Arizona, her job, her garden, the classes she was taking at the community center, normal life things. Eventually she asked, "Have you heard from Emily?" "No. You?" "She called once, asked if I could talk to you. I told her no." "Good. She's working now, retail, something in a department store." "How's Tyler?" "Don't know, don't care." We finished our coffee, hugged goodbye, promised to stay in touch. When I got home, I looked at the folder on my desk, the one with all the documents, everything I'd done, every step of the plan. I'd kept it as evidence, as proof, as a record, but I didn't need it anymore. I fed the papers into my shredder, one by one, watched them turn into confetti. When it was done, I took the bag outside and threw it away. It was over. 3 days later, Emily called one final time. Different number. I answered without thinking. "Dad?" I should have hung up, but I didn't. "What do you want, Emily?" "To see you. One last time, please." "Why?" "Because I need to say goodbye properly. Because the kids deserve to know their grandfather. Because... No. Dad, you made your choice. I made mine. There's nothing left to say. There's always something left to say. Not for us." I hung up. She didn't call back. The house, my old house, sold a month later. Noah Briggs made $40,000 on the flip. He sent me a bottle of expensive whiskey as a thank you. I drank it slowly, over several weeks, toasting nothing in particular, just the simple fact of being free. Emily's Instagram account disappeared. Either she deleted it or it got banned. I didn't check. Tyler's LinkedIn profile still existed, listed his job as retail management. No mention of financial consulting. I blocked both of them. Didn't need to see it anymore. I started traveling, nothing fancy, road trips, national parks, small towns I'd always meant to visit but never had time for, bought a better truck, treated myself to good meals, spent money on things I wanted instead of things other people needed. It was nice. One afternoon, I was hiking in Utah when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Is this Jack Rowley?" "Speaking." "This is Principal Anderson from Riverside Elementary. I'm calling about your grandchildren." My stomach dropped. "What happened?" "Nothing bad. They're fine. But we need an emergency contact on file, and their mother listed you." "She did?" "Yes. Is that acceptable?" I thought about it. The kids hadn't done anything wrong. They were just caught in the middle. "Yeah," I said. "That's fine." "Thank you. We just need some information." I gave them what they needed. Address, phone number, relevant details. When I hung up, I stood there looking at the canyon in front of me. Red rocks, blue sky, endless space. Emily had listed me as emergency contact. That was something. Not forgiveness. Not reconciliation. Just acknowledgement. That I existed. That I mattered. It was more than she'd given me in years. It was enough. I kept walking. The sun was setting. The trail was getting dark, but I knew where I was going. Forward. Always forward. I got back to my truck an hour later. Sat in the driver's seat looking at my phone. Emily's number was still there. Blocked, but there. I could unblock it. Could call her. Could start something. I put the phone away. Not today. Maybe not ever. But maybe someday. When the kids were older. When they could understand. When Emily had learned what real family actually meant. Maybe then. For now, I had trails to hike, roads to drive, life to live, on my terms, for the first time in years. I started the truck and drove into the sunset. Free, completely free, and that was enough. But I'm not quite done yet. There's one more thing to settle, one final piece that needs to fall into place. I drove back to my apartment that night. Found the letter Emily had sent months ago. The apology. The one I'd put in a drawer and tried to forget. I read it again. Every word. Then I wrote my response. Not an email, not a text. A real letter. Paper and pen. Emily, I got your letter. I appreciate the apology, but apologies don't change the past. They don't undo what was done. You treated me like an ATM for years. You used me until you didn't need me, then discarded me the moment I became inconvenient. That's not family. That's transaction. You're working now. You're supporting yourself. That's good. That's what you should have been doing all along. Maybe in a few years, when you've proven you can stand on your own, we can talk. But not now. Not yet. The kids can have my number when they're 18. They can make their own choice about whether they want to know me. But until then, stay away. Build your own life. Earn your own success. Become someone worth respecting. Then maybe, we'll have something to talk about. Until then, leave me alone. Jack. I sealed it. Addressed it to Tyler's parents' house. The last address I had. Mailed it the next morning. Then I blocked Emily's number. Permanently this time, and Tyler's, and anyone else connected to that part of my life. I was done carrying their weight. Done being their backup plan. Done being not real family. 2 weeks later, I got a response. Not from Emily. From Tyler. He'd somehow gotten my new number. The text message was short. You're going to regret this. One day you'll be alone, and you'll realize you threw away your only family. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed my response. I'm already alone, and I've never been happier. I sent it. Then I blocked his number too. That was it. The final word, the last conversation. I poured myself a drink, the good scotch, the kind I bought for myself now, sat on my balcony and watched the sun go down, thought about everything that had happened, the betrayal, the anger, the revenge, and I realized something. I didn't regret any of it. Not one decision, not one action, not one moment. They'd used me for years, treated me like I was disposable, and when I'd stopped letting them, they'd acted like I was the villain. But I wasn't the villain. I was just someone who'd finally learned to say no. And that felt good. Better than good. It felt right. I finished my drink and went inside. Tomorrow I'd start planning my next trip. Maybe Montana, maybe Colorado. Somewhere with mountains and open space and no one who wanted anything from me. Somewhere I could just be. And that was exactly what I wanted. The phone rang one more time that night. Late. After midnight. Emily again. Different number. She'd gotten past my block somehow. I picked up. Dad, please, just listen. No. The kids have your number, not mine. Keep it that way. You're choosing to do this. You're choosing to abandon them. I'm choosing myself, finally, after years of choosing you. That's selfish. Yeah, it is, and it feels great. I hung up, changed my number the next day, didn't give it to anyone connected to Emily, just Valerie, Lucas, a few friends, people who'd earned it, and that was it. Clean break, complete separation, total freedom. I stood in my empty apartment that night, new number, new life, new everything, and realized I was smiling, actually smiling, for the first time in months, because I'd won, not in court, not on paper, but in the way that mattered. I'd taken back my life, and I was never giving it away again.